There is quite a lot of space, however the rush distance between the maps is a lot bigger than it appears. So it's actually possible, should your opponent pylon scout, they will spot your probe just as it arrives.
Yeah, I see.
Down your first pylon.
Indeed. And you would take the advantage right off the bat. Lol, I'm not playing well. Yes, you are.
Well, that remains to be seen. We have here, in the bottom right, in his grandpa purple sweater, throwing down his first pylon. It's good that Alzheimer's hasn't taken away his memory of that yet. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, that was a
oh my gosh!
Day.
He's not stream sniping you, so it's okay.
I'm going to get horrible comments from the people here saying, my grandfather has Alzheimer's.
Well,
I think he does.
What's so bad about it? Just means that you got the genes.
Yeah, it is an unfortunate neurodegenerative disease, and we see that he is not forgetting anything as a result of it. He's going to get his first gateway relatively soon. It is Mr. BenAD.
Mr. BenAD, finally, he's now in the Christmas red. Oh, I love that.
You're changing the colours. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I love it. How do you call the blue?
Well, we've got the grandpa. We're going to go with the rebellious youth. Recently enjoying a birthday, I believe. We do have
what?
someone mentioning the possibility of proxy zealot rushed only to get through a PvP bracket. Throwing down a gas, a double gas, interestingly enough. He could be going for a relatively quick stalker timing, could be going for a fast robo, could even be going for
DTs.
I'd love to say DTs. Or it could be his legendary Phoenix play. We have that young upstart ShadowMamba.
ShadowMamba. I would like to witness that that Phoenix play indeed. Could analyze that and then later on challenge him in a mortal combat.
That would be definitely an interesting way to do that, but that remains to be seen how this match will unfold. It's PvP, so all we have to do now is watch the production tab.
And this is what I'm gonna do right now, and we have a second gate thrown down by Mr. FS BenAD as well as his gas, second gas, still scouting within the base of
We do see
ShadowMamba.
Ben has a lot of chrono boosts saved up, chrono boosting out a stalker and his warp gate. So perhaps he's not going to be going for an aggressive 4 gate. We're going to see a 3 stalker rush out of Ben.
He's gonna go for the robo actually.
Indeed, but
And
timing here lines up quite well. 1 stalker.
he actually got two. He's got 2 probes. He had only 2 probes in his guys, and now 3. But he was only on 2 probes
3
for each.
stalker. Called it 3 stalker rush.
Oh, that's BenAD, right?
Yes, it is, sir. Meanwhile, we do see a robo facility going down from his opponent. And Ben, with his scouting probe, and is he doing the Koreign spiral?
Easy.
Those rally points are making the Koreign spiral.
He is.
And you
That's such a
beautiful.
baller. If you guys do not know about the Koreign spiral, it's right here in the overlay, and he's gonna go right now to pump out his very first immortal as soon as he's got the money. Yeah, here you go. He also already has the sentry. If that sentry gets too far from the how do you call that, man? I'm losing my words.
The
ramp. Damn it.
The neutral supply depot.
Yeah, destroy that supply depot, man. We don't need that.
We don't, but did you hear? Immortals are quite good against them.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we have a beautiful force field.
He needs to save that stalker. He needs to save the stalker, though.
He needs to keep that stalker alive, but with an immortal about to go, hey, what's up, sugar tits?
What's up? And two stalkers not going to be enough to actually fight that.
Boom, boom, boom,
Oh,
boom.
he's gonna get one of the stalker actually, and the third one gets down also, killed by sentries. What a shame.
Indeed. Those 2 stalkers do manage to escape from the German guns, Mr. Immortal himself.
And look at what I see. A dark shrine on the way.
Oh, Ben. Ben, those things you do to me, sir.
A bit late though, but he cancelled it. He cancelled it. Why did he cancel?
Did it get scouted?
I don't think it did. He actually decided to go back in and do some kind of...
ShadowMamba did not see it.
He did not see it, and actually was not even pumping out any kind of observer. He could have done any kind of damage he wanted to.
Well,
Maybe not on time.
That Ben decided because there are immortals out, there would very soon be observers.
Yeah, that's right.
That's an immortal-centered army. A lot of zealots with charge and archons is actually a tremendously powerful counter.
I think so against the Robo, and if you want to go for a 2-base kind of very early push, that works, right?
Indeed. The worst your opponent will have is going to be perhaps 2 Colossi, if that. Right. It's highly likely that they'll have just the 1 by the time your push gets there. He could research charge, do several warpins of zealots, walk across the map, have a couple of Archons ready, and then just go nom 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 nom. That's a lovely army you have there.
And now they both go for the Colossus Rush, but as you can see, FS BenAD is actually a bit ahead in terms of probes, so 32 against 28, which means that in terms of economy he's got a small edge. He already has his own Nexus done.
Indeed. And we see... Oh, Ben.
Ben.
Next to his robotics bay, he just executed a probe.
Did he?
Yep. He was stuck behind his own lines, unable to get back to work. And in the world of Ben, if you can't work, you die.
Yeah. That's
just
the low.
Games.
That's the hard low of StarCraft. There you go.
First Colossus coming out now. And we do see that, despite having his Colossus tech faster than ShadowMamba, we see that ShadowMamba is actually getting out his Colossus and his extended thermal lance ahead of Ben.
Indeed.
Meanwhile, we do see Ben has quite a bit of gas saved up, so he could invest in a second Robo and pump double Colossus, or more than likely he will be putting out some extra Colossi very soon. Yep, and that's the second one queued up.
I think that's a very nice suggestion, and considering that he's a little bit behind, he's not that far behind, they're actually pretty much even at the moment. Just the Colossus count is a bit in favor of ShadowMamba, and that second robotic will be so useful, especially that if he's throwing down also his forge, actually he could go very high up into the upgrades, which will give a nice advantage to his Colossus. Another advantage that you would like to take in PvP, I think. Thank you, PvP, for teaching us how to live the right way.
One thing I would like to see from both of these players, though, get some map vision.
Yeah, there's absolutely no map vision. Look at that. One stalker, the very one stalker that was out in the map, took few shots from the initial immortal, and nothing else happened. Just one observer, like, wandering around trying to spot how many Colossus Mr. BenAD got up to. And here we go, he knows he's got 2. They both got about 2 Colossus here, a third in construction for each one of them. So see, we have a second robo for both players, and FS BenAD is gonna go for the second one actually much faster. He also has the High Templar, the Templar Archives, right ready to go for Archons as well.
Indeed, and whoever Archons the most is likely to win in a Colossus versus Colossus war when they're at even numbers.
That's right, but look at this. He's got double forge, ShadowMamba. Double forge.
Oh, ShadowMamba, you're getting my favorite upgrade in the game.
Yes. Oh, isn't that the plasma shield?
That's the observer speed, sir.
Observer speed, pretty useful.
Observer speed, a remarkably underappreciated upgrade.
Totally agree with
we
you.
do see neither player, actually ShadowMamba does have 2 observers right now, one with his main army, and I'm actually going to select this and just tell you how fast it becomes. Right now it's movement speed 1.88. Keep that number in your head, because the upgrade is very quickly going to complete in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What was the number before, sir?
166.
188. It's now 2.81. It's now just as fast as a Stalker. Just about.
So any kind of Stalker wouldn't catch it. Pretty sure about that.
Indeed, unless there were a speed observer with it.
So what do we have as a final count in terms of Colossus? We have 4 Colossus in the ShadowMamba camp, but we also have Archons morphing in for Mr. FS BenAD. They're gonna try to wait.
5th Colossus just finishing for ShadowMamba now. Wow.
Yes, 5th Colossus
5 to 4. But we do see that Ben does have the edge in Archons and in probes.
Indeed. In terms of probes, he's got 62 against 56. His economy is pretty damn good. He's going to be able to saturate his third pretty fast, while BenAD is going to have to work much harder. But in terms of upgrades, look at the upgrades, man. They already won one. They're going to go for the 2-2, right? Pretty soon. He's got the money, I think.
And meanwhile, Ben's stuck at 0-0.
There you go. 2-2 started now.
And Ben has not even finished his level 1 weapons yet.
Yeah, he's just sending like 4 zealots right now to actually scout for the third and try to stimulate a bit the army of ShadowMamba. Still no observer in the army of Ben, which means that he's not going to be able to spot that single annoying observer that sees everything.
Indeed, he does have the double robo. He can actually just take a slight hit on his units here with some zealot harassment. He can get a good estimate of how many Colossus his opponents has.
That's right.
If he's actually paying attention, he should be able to count. There's at least 6 or 7 there. We happen to know that it's, in fact, just a happy number 7.
Happy number 7 it is. And
but
here we go,
he can
not
take
much
the
action
time
right now.
to kill off this observer, and actually, Ben does get an observer down to finish it off.
Pretty cool. Now he's going to go for his 2-2 upgrades as well. Only 2-2 armor going down, I guess. Let me see. 2-2 ground attack, actually.
Well, I do quite like what Ben's done at his third base, just putting down the wall of gateways to protect from Zergling run-bys. That's going to be very effective in the late game.
Indeed.
Versus Rage 9 Colossus, who he can't possibly defend against.
If that was a ZVP...
Am I being too sarcastic there, sir?
Just
we do see Ben is taking his 4th base, and he's actually going to try and get a late game economic edge. I'd like to see him take these 2 gas geysers relatively soon.
Yeah.
When his Nexus gets about 70% complete, and that will allow him to immediately begin mining gas when that Nexus completes.
So right now, you know, in my head, the first question that's going to come down is like, when you get 2 players like that, turning very, very hard, and building up into the Colossus count as high as they can, it's going to be a small fraction difference between the 2 players. Here we have 9 Colossus against 7. We also have 5 Archons morphed in, but also a total of 25 Zealots that's not going to count in the fight. Actually, they're going to evaporate pretty fast. So here, the engagement is going to be like crucial, super crucial, and this
Indeed.
is where people is gonna start like watching, like, how do I engage like in 2 big Colossus group like that? How do you take the edge? Then I think the nice answer is you need to have those observers to know where the army of your opponent is. It's gonna be very, very useful for you, and knowing the positioning of your opponent is gonna give you such an edge in actually building up that that arc. That's going to help you to have the advantage in the engagement. And now we see ShadowMamba moving out.
Yep, he is maxed. He has a warp prism to reinforce his army, and back home he has quite a lot of warp gates.
Indeed, he's got a
However, he doesn't have quite as many as I would hope, though.
Oh, look at this. He's going to catch maybe that train of probes transferring. No, he misses it.
No, he misses it. And that is actually huge. That was over 24 probes, but I don't think it's going to matter. This army is poised to strike at the 3rd or the 4th at any time.
Indeed, and a few cannons are waiting to...
However, one thing Ben does have in his favour, his opponent does not know it's there.
And look at this, he's going to engage on the Colossus right off the bat, so that means he's going to get the advantage, killing
and
one
he gets
Colossus
one Colossus. The concave here is slightly better for ShadowMamba, however Ben managing to get a very nice concave of his own. But meanwhile, the Colossus just say, you know what? Armies don't actually count for anything.
Exactly.
And
so
it
now
seems that the only thing that survives in an army plus Colossus war is, oh god, the Colossus!
Colossus! And
Oh, the
BenAD takes
pathing!
such an advantage right now. Look at this. 7 Colossus remaining against 3 for ShadowMamba. Very nicely
what
done.
What he needs to do is he needs to get a warp prism across the map right now. He does not want to overcommit with these 7 Colossus that he has out.
But look what we have. We have ShadowMamba also dropping a lot of zealots.
Oh, he's managing to get his opponent on the pathing again.
Exactly, he's trying to go for a counter.
He's caught the cliff face. Is he going to catch it? Oh, it gets away.
Oh.
ShadowMamba pulling the plug just to stall Ben long enough.
He tried that, didn't work. He's gonna
And
go
here's zealots.
He's gonna have to position his Colossus a little bit more defensively, because if
dangerously.
Yeah, very dangerous positioning for his Colossus right now. Too vulnerable against the positioning of the army.
From ShadowMamba, he's going to take out one of these, but we do see Ben's got a reinforcing pylon up now, and is actually sending zealots across the map while he runs his Colossus
away. He didn't resume the actual position of Colossus, which he should have, but still at the base we have a bunch of no, actually there was a single zealot that was trying to take down most of the structures of Ben.
Well, it has managed to unpower the Colossus Bay, and it has managed to unpower the Templar Archives.
Indeed. It doesn't need to be powered though, because it is not going to research anything close to storm or anything, but what he needs is going to have to resume the production of Colossus, which he's doing. He's actually producing double Immortals right now and more Archons. Maybe a good thing to do.
Well, we saw how effective Archons are at tanking Zealot damage in the previous engagement. It is actually unfortunate for ShadowMamba that he just got horribly outflanked by Ben there. However, we do see that Ben now has quite a heavy advantage if he manages to remember to pump these Colossus. And it seems he's actually transitioning into Immortals.
Yeah.
Just pumping out 2 at a time here.
I have to say that ShadowMamba still has the ShadowMamba has the upgrades advantage. He's got free when Ben's got 3-2. It's a very small advantage though, but look at this group of zealots actually going to try to tackle that 3rd. Maybe he's going to try to deny that 4th. I think that's going to be a very nice thing to do if he could deny that 4th.
Well, he's actually doing the right thing. He's taking back some map vision, he's getting some control over it, and he's actually scouting out for additional bases. I believe... No, he's not. He's going to ignore this shrubbery or this extra base. Shut up, Matthew. Go home.
Matthew. You're so wrong.
But where are these 2 zealots going? Where are they going? I'm watching their vision. These 2 zealots, are they going to find it? They're going past the shrubbery. And they get hit in the face with a cannon.
Can 2 zealots take down 1 cannon by themselves? Yes, they can.
No, they can't. Blinkstalkers say no.
Blinkstalkers say no, and actually ShadowMamba got his Colossus count back. He's got 7. We had Ben having actually 4 Colossus leads right after the main engagement, and he actually lost that lead pretty damn fast.
He has squandered that, although he does have a slight immortal advantage. I believe Ben is just investing too heavily into economy, and meanwhile ShadowMamba, that is a very risky base to take, and oh god.
He's gonna trap him probably at the bottom of the ramp.
He is going to completely trap ShadowMamba's army, and he is going to engage these Colossus first.
But I don't know actually. ShadowMamba knows that Ben is coming right behind him. He's got his Colossus naked actually.
They managed to get one of the Colossi down quickly. There go 2. There go 3, and the concave for Ben is just too good, but look at the top of the hill.
Pulling back actually.
ShadowMamba enabling himself to just spread out there beautifully. These zealots. Why Ben doesn't turn around and kite these zealots, I don't know, but
he could do so.
That he now has a bit of an army disadvantage, and now a base disadvantage as well. And
now we have ShadowMamba getting back onto the upper side of his new base. Maybe he's gonna plan to take a new base there. I don't know. But
Well,
now we have a Ben going to morph in a few more Archons. He's not resuming the production of Colossus. He doesn't have the money for it, actually. Yes, he
indeed.
could. He's got a few idle probes that's now going to get some additional mineral. He's taking his 4th at the moment, not saturation, no saturation yet. And ShadowMamba is going to have to hang on his 5th base, actually.
Well, that is currently, I suppose, his 4th base, but looking at the units tab, both players have lost quite a lot of their probes. They're down to 50 and 51 as opposed to the 70-odd region we had before.
That's right.
I'd like to see... there they are. They finished their transfer. ShadowMamba is now currently in a tremendous lead as he's finally managed to get that base saturated. Meanwhile, we see at Ben's 3rd, his mineral line is still not fully saturated.
And he's got only 2 mining bases right now.
Both players
do.
Bases, and we see ShadowMamba's trying to take a 3rd base, or a 3rd mining base, up in the top centre. Meanwhile, he's left his army near the watchtower. What he needs to do is just continue to harass, try and pull Ben's army out of position, and force him into an unfavourable engagement.
But instead he's trying to build up some kind of concave, in which ShadowMamba is not going to try to beg to.
Indeed. And what ShadowMamba does need to do is he needs to try and spot this base. If he can get there with a Templar or with 1 or 2 Zealots, he can do a tremendous amount of damage.
Let's see what's happened, man. How many Colossus do we have? We have 8 Colossus versus 7, not a big difference. We have a mix of 7 Dark Templars in the army of ShadowMamba, which means that without any
that is absolutely huge, because Ben does not have an observer.
Exactly, doesn't have any observer. He's just got cannons which could actually detect the presence of those guys, but is that going to be enough? He's going to try to beg the army of Ben into his Colossus count. He's going to lose an Archon to it. No, he's not. He's going to try to take down this wall bit by bit as much as he can. Let's see the engagement. Now he had a lot of Zealots, though. He could throw them away onto these Archons, but is that going to be enough? Now,
in the splash damage, we do see that Dark Templar pretty good when they're not being hit by splash damage, and they do manage to snipe 1, 2 Colossus.
Indeed. ShadowMamba trying to micro his way back. Now Ben taking back the advantage, actually 6-6 Colossus. ShadowMamba is actually running away from that fight. He could be taken down very quickly. I think FS
he loses a Colossus as he tries to run away. He loses 2 more, loses a 3rd, and oh god, this is just painful to watch.
But he's probably overextending right now.
He's lost another Colossus. He has lost all of his Colossus.
And
Ben is... I do not understand why he's running from this. He could literally turn around and kill all of these.
Yes, he should probably just
but
fight. Take that fight.
Necessarily lost 2. He's now losing a 3rd. There we go.
There you go.
Had he just turned around, perhaps he would have lost 1 Colossus, but he would have actually been able to save 2 that died unnecessarily there. That was a huge loss.
Indeed. And now we see his army migration going towards the actual 3rd of ShadowMamba is actually trying to retake that 3rd after so much fight. He still has a good economy running right now, but the advantage in army is probably in favor of BenAD.
I do like the way that Ben is continuously harassing this 3rd, but again, I have to criticize Ben for his map vision.
Yeah, the map vision was actually not that good. It's probably going to...
It's not actually important to take out armies. It is important to deny bases.
Deny bases, and the army of ShadowMamba can do nothing if it takes position towards this 4th and 5th of ShadowMamba. Actually, you can actually beg the army to come into it.
But I do like what ShadowMamba was attempting with Dark Templar, and it would actually be very beneficial for him to send into the main base, as Ben currently has 1 cannon near the top of his base, but the rest of his main is completely undefended from any kind of DT aggression.
Indeed, indeed.
Something which the observers of ShadowMamba should have scouted already. And oh god, ShadowMamba taking time to talk is actually getting caught.
Oh, that's too bad.
Position.
He's losing the edge thanks to the keyboard. AFK GG, well played. It's called by ShadowMamba. That was actually FSBen going for the kill just right after winning the third major engagement. It depends. I'm pretty well paid actually in Korea, I would say.
Good for you, sir.
All props to me!
When you are a master of neuroscience. Speaking of which, let's get inside the heads and introduce our two competitors today. Would you care to do the honors, my good friend?
Alright, I'm gonna start with the actual winner of the previous game. On the top right position in red, in Christmas red, we have BenAD, who actually claiming that he's playing bad, but actually stealing the win against his opponent.
Well, Father Ben, our good old friend.
Our good old friend. And on the bottom left position in blue, in sea blue, deep blue sea, we have ShadowMamba, the fearsome protoss player that's good at PvP, but not today.
Well, he did play very well in that previous game. And
yes,
is that a mothership there right now? No, it's not.
I would like to see a mothership
I was
rush.
hoping that would be a standard 1 minute 50-second mothership.
Oh, that would be so good. You know what? Seeing a mothership rush win in a PvP at platinum level, that would be so good. Indeed.
Actually, I just noticed the halo on the top of the Nexus gets larger when you chrono boost.
That's right. And actually, I have a bug on my other computer. I can see the circle surrounding the animation of the chrono boost, showing where are the edge actually of the animation. It's pretty ugly. Just talking about something nobody can see. That's fine. That's fine.
That fog of war.
Fog of war. Can you see that?
Oh, that is actually something you can see.
Yes, I can. And now we see ShadowMamba scouting the base of his opponent, while FSBen is checking for a very fast Nexus, which is not going to happen in PvP. Or would it happen?
Well, it has happened before, and it's often considered suicide.
Often. And we've seen actually, I believe Hanover going for a very fast Nexus after Forge expand.
That didn't go quite so well.
Well, it depends. I guess she wanted to try something new, and that's all props to her.
Maybe she was doing Fun Day Monday. She wanted to get 3 bases before gas.
Oh, that would be so good. That would be so good. I would love to see a Fun Day Monday right now, except that we're Tuesdays. So it's gonna be like what?
Now, which Fusion Slug would play in a show match against a fellow Fusion Slug and do Fun Day Monday restraints for the last 3 games of the show match?
You would do that. You would do that.
I recall doing that against our good friend Fusion Slugs Bonic recently, going for mothership and carrier rushes in the last couple of games, and in no, I believe it was just 2 games. My apologies.
I would love.
I went for motherships and carriers. I got the carrier out. I got that carrier.
We got another 3-stalker pressure from the red opponent, Mr. Ben, going to go against Blink, or is it a DT?
I would imagine it's DT based on the very small amount of gas he's actually spent. He is trying to get out his 3rd stalker relatively quickly, but look at the amount of gas he's got. By the time this council finishes, he should be very close to the necessary 250 gas.
Indeed.
And had he not built that 3rd stalker, he would have had that money right now.
But he's dropping a 3rd gateway before that. He's going for Blink, maybe.
It's entirely possible.
And there you go.
And there is Blink.
So he's got 3 stalkers against 2 right now. 3 on 3. That's what we like.
And
taking down the 1st stalker. Nice move
a
from
huge disadvantage here. He has to get out of there.
And he's gonna get out. But he's gonna lose one of the stalker. Yeah, you go. 2 against 1.
That is a huge disadvantage at this stage of the game, especially with Blink underway.
That's pretty bad.
Did Ben actually see it? He saw it.
But that's the right time actually to go for DT, because no detection whatsoever.
Indeed. Meanwhile, we see that Ben is going for a 3-gate robo. He needs to rush out these Immortals very, very quickly.
He's gonna have to face. He's got quite a good count of stalkers right now. 4 stalkers and 1 zealot trying to. They actually spotted the forward pylon's gonna be cancelled right on the spot. So no reinforcement for ShadowMamba. He's got also 4 stalkers down. That means that if Ben is actually going.
There is an additional pylon being built here in the top center of the map. And I imagine this probe, as the push continues, will start to move forward. Perhaps place one on the low ground where he can warp directly into the main.
I have to say, Ben is actually already. He already has more stalkers than ShadowMamba, which means he could actually manage to.
That is not going to tell for very much though, because ShadowMamba just finished Blink.
Yep, but Immortal's almost on the way too.
Oh,
he's losing so fast actually his stalkers that he's actually not taking advantage of that blink fast enough, and now the Immortal is out. Bye bye Blink. Just need 1 observer just as he does, and here you go.
Do see that the robotics facility is very delayed.
Yeah, even ShadowMamba doesn't have his own observer right now.
And this is actually a huge disadvantage, because there goes Mr. German Guns, the Immortal himself.
Indeed.
Just as I go boom, 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 boom.
Let me show you how it's done.
Boom, boom.
And again, one thing I've noticed from Ben is that he always had like 1 or 2 probes more ahead of ShadowMamba, which is pretty good to see actually.
Indeed, and oh, that's
taking 3 shots from the high ground, dropping down this Nexus as well.
Always a painful sight.
Very nice, very nice. And a second Immortal on the way. He's going to be able to defend that Nexus very, very niftily.
Very nice blink, saves all of those stalkers.
And now we have the observer coming his way. He's probably going to be spotted by the observer of Ben as well. So not very useful for the blink.
No. These stalkers are actually going to get into the main.
They will be able to do though.
But these 2 stalkers at the bottom, they're left behind.
They won't be able to blink up. And here we have Ben. Actually, the observer of Ben is actually going too close to the observer of ShadowMamba, taking down.
Indeed. And the gas gets taken out. Meanwhile, ShadowMamba just blinks out.
Very nicely done. It takes down the first assimilator, also slowing down the actual mineral harvesting. And now Ben is in a very defensive position. He's got to retake his assimilator. He's got to reassign all of his probes to the mineral count. But
look what ShadowMamba's transitioning into. Colossus and Thermal Lance.
There you go. And this is where the psychology is playing up so well. Look at that. So much for those stalkers that do not do anything but just bait for the opponent to be in defensive mode.
Indeed,
right now.
We do see that. Oh, he could have actually forced a cancel on that zealot by taking out that pylon, but unable to do so. He does not actually move into the natural to harass with stalkers while Ben's army comes back. A rather unfortunate thing to see.
Yeah, he could have done a double pronged attack, but it's pretty hard to pull out, especially when you want to save all of your stalkers. But he's got his Colossus count starting up to get up right now as we speak.
Indeed, he's beginning his Colossus count. Ben has actually just started his Colossus tech, but meanwhile we see Thermal Lance and the second Colossus are about to finish very soon for ShadowMamba.
He just needs to save up his stalkers count as much as he can. Now pumping out as many zealots as he can. Just to
what he needs is to research Zealot Charge or to get some extra Zealots.
Yeah, exactly. So he's gonna do that, keeping up the Colossus count, going for like you said, the charge. The Thermal Lance is done. 2 Colossus on the way, and ShadowMamba is still not ahead in supply, which is quite surprising actually.
Indeed. What ShadowMamba needs to do with this, he needs to actually spend some of that gas he's got on sentries, perhaps 2 sentries to help zone his opponent's army into a slightly more advanced choke, because he's going to have smaller zealot numbers, and that is going to tell when your primary unit force is actually completely susceptible to those immortals.
Yeah. And we have Ben going for the second robotics right now. I have to say that when you're already behind in terms of Colossus count, actually those immortals are very, very good. He's already got 3 of them. But those guys, especially in a blink opening, you take down all of these initial stalkers very fast because they already have quite low health usually, and they actually can take down Colossus very nicely as well. So sometimes you don't need to go to rush for too many Colossus. Just keep up the immortal count, and you can do it with it. Nice force field also can play a very nice role, even though you have Colossus on the field. Still useful.
Indeed.
Still useful, I would say.
And we once again are at the Colossus Wars level. We need to see these rocks be taken out, because frankly, if these rocks are not taken out, that is a huge choke to get units caught at. But oh god,
saving the Colossus, the second
ShadowMamba has just caught Ben out of position, and these immortals are arriving very late to the party. We do see Ben losing one of his Colossi in the high ground. Meanwhile, ShadowMamba is actually going to be able to keep his Colossus safe.
Indeed. And those immortals are actually doing a nice job as well.
2 immortal, 3 immortals go down. We're going to see GG any second.
Very nice.
There we go.
Focus fire from ShadowMamba, taking down all of the Colossus as well as the immortal, and it takes down the second game. So we now tied up 1-1 in that best of 3.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And we do see Ben's choice of map is ESV Kydaria, interestingly enough. And you know what that means? You know what that means, sir?
No, I don't. Is that defensive 4-gate?
No, it means that we get to hear my impression of the destructible rocks.
I'd like to hear that.
Well, let's get these players introduced. In the bottom right-hand position on ESV Kydaria, we do see our Grand Protoss in the festive what colour, sir?
Is that Red Christmas?
Red Christmas.
Red Christmas.
How do you say Merry Christmas in French?
Joyeux Noël.
Joyeux Noël.
Joyeux Noël, mon ami.
Oh, the things you do to me, sir.
Oh.
We have Fusion Slugs BenAD.
Yes, himself.
And in the top left, throwing down his pylon ever so slightly after Mr. Ben, we do see, in the beautiful, fetching, fashionable, mineral-coloured blue.
Oh, that's so nicely said.
The money colour, we do have Mr. ShadowMamba.
That is right. This is the actual money color of a StarCraft 2. Blue it is.
And we see ShadowMamba sending out a scouting probe, going past this pile of inanimate objects in the centre of the map. And he's going to be scouting into a position which, unfortunately, his opponent is not currently at. Oh,
it's too bad.
Indeed. But that is just one of the ways of the world.
The ways of the world it is. And still, Ben not scouting and taking up 1 probe advantage already, which is pretty nice in PvP. But he's going for a double scout.
He's sending 2 probes to scout. He's obviously very determined to find his opponent.
Quickly as well. Indeed.
Indeed. He's sending 1 to the left-hand position. He's sending 1 cross maps past these destructible rocks. How you doing, destructible rocks? Yeah.
Yes. Hello, you.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm betting that FS Ben is going to go for a very quick full gate.
Well, it is entirely possible, though he does have a slightly low chrono boost count for doing that kind of attack.
Indeed.
However, his probe count is actually nearing the levels that he needs, just an additional 3. He does have only 2, now sending a 3rd probe to just sit by the assimilator, having a bit of a smoking break here in his main base. And we do see a 2nd gateway going down. He could easily be going for a 4-gate, or he could be going for a 3-stalker rush.
Indeed.
There goes the warp gate.
Got a 2nd gate coming down.
There is the stalker.
So ShadowMamba is going to go, I think, for the 4-gate, because look at that, the chrono boost count, the probe
that is
count.
a tremendously high chrono boost.
Oh no, he's going to go for something else. What is that?
Double gas.
That hidden probe inside of his base gonna do so much damage. I'm sure about that. How did Ben know about this base? Because he didn't scout the actual position of the top right side.
Well, he sent one probe across map, and he sent one probe to the left-hand side.
Did he actually scout? Yeah, he saw the base. He saw the base of ShadowMamba, but he didn't. He wasn't seen.
Indeed, he was not seen.
And this is a 4 gate. See that? See that prediction? Oh my gosh! 4 gates from Ben.
And ShadowMamba is none the wiser. He's got his sentry. He's going for a Stargate.
Oh, that's such a bad choice right now. Look at this. He's not scouting inside of his base. His probe is gonna. These probes could actually scout for the inward pylon.
Oh god, we have a Stargate and a Robo. He's going to have 2 gates to hold off 4.
That's going to be horrible.
If actually go for both, if he can make 2 warp ins here, then it will be game over. Here comes the first warp in. 1, 2, 3 zealots. He needs to start getting stalkers now, and if he just holds back, he will be fine. ShadowMamba has absolutely no idea this is here. Now he does. The zealots walk into the mineral line.
And he knows that he's pretty much out of here.
He knows he is pretty much dead. Meanwhile, Ben has a second pylon and is making quite a few stalkers. Meanwhile, ShadowMamba, you've got to be kidding me. Nope, this is real life.
This is a 4 gate, Mr. ShadowMamba GG, and here you go. Mr. FS BenAD, who claimed not to be playing well, actually played damn good, actually. Taking down the series.
Hello, Rain. How are you doing? My name is Fusion Slugs Ben Creator Prime.
Yeah, Prime it is.